Hello again. The assertion has been made in the Evening Standard newspaper today that knife crime in London is being ignored. I find this a truly extraordinary suggestion and cannot for the life of me imagine why anybody would say such a foolish thing. Well, actually, that's not altogether true. I know precisely why somebody would and did say this, because the complete sentence is, of course, knife crime in London is ignored because it disproportionately affects black people. Of course, it's a race thing. Before going any further, I wonder if any readers living in or near the capital could ask themselves whether they are indifferent to knife crime in London, or indeed are ignoring it entirely. I strongly suspect that very few people feel this way. Almost everybody in and around London knows that it's a dreadful scourge and that something must be done to tackle the problem. The question is, what? The reason that it was suggested by the author of the piece in the Evening Standard that knife crime is being ignored was not because she really thought that this was the case, but because she is black and wished to make a point by bringing race into the matter. It is, of course, quite true that almost half the victims of knife crimes and indeed knife murders in London are black, but they're not being stabbed to death by white racists, rather by other young black men. I give a link also in the description to this video to a motion put forward at the London Assembly a couple of years ago by a black guy about tackling knife crime in the capital. He made the point that despite making up just 13% of the population of London, 45% of those killed by knives are black, and 61% of those who stab people to death are also black. Most violent crime, you see, is inflicted by people of the same ethnicity as their victims. In other words, white people tend to attack white people, Bangladeshis attack other Bangladeshis, and black people on the whole attack black people. There's no secret about this, it's simply in the nature of violent crime, it's how it works. Rather than ignoring knife crime, a lot of white people feel awkward about mentioning it, for the simple reason that they do not wish to appear racist, and they have the idea that the less said on the subject, the better. It's widely known that the proportion of knife killers in London who are black is roughly 5 times the proportion of black people in the general population of the capital, and this is embarrassing for many people. Best just to keep quiet about it. You see, if anybody really was going to tackle knife crime, it would be necessary to direct a disproportionate amount of that effort on young black men, and this would create a terrible impression. I'm sure that we are all aware that in the past, random stop and search operations by the police have proved very effective in reducing crime in certain districts, but have also led to rioting and disorder on occasion, combined with accusations against the police of racism. This is because they have focused on a group which is statistically more likely to carry and use knives. Common sense from a strictly pragmatic point of view, but nevertheless horribly controversial in the world in which we live. This then is the reason the subject of knife crime in London is often brushed under the carpet and not talked about. It's not really being ignored. Most of us are concerned about it, but it's because we know how it could be tackled and reduced, and know too that there is no stomach for actually doing what is needed to deal with the situation. That being so, there's little point in talking about it. The number of people stabbed to death in London will continue to rise, and until we talk plainly about the nature of the problem, the situation is unlikely to improve of its own accord.